was a hypo, and I'm like, welcome to Amazon Answers. I'm Jared, and today we are talking about two very radical takes on Wonder Woman that I think really breathe a lot of life into the character and create like really interesting Wonder Woman takes. We're talking about Absolute Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman Dead Earth. And the reason why I'm doing two is because I was going to just do Dead Earth this week, but when I was thinking it through, it occurred to me that like Absolute Wonder Woman is kind of like Dead Earth, except it's like it's better than Dead Earth in my opinion. Hey, what's up, NJ? What's up, Cameron? So let's start with Wonder Woman Dead Earth. All right. So Dead Earth is like one of the most like unique like takes on Wonder Woman. So first off, it's Black Label Elseworlds. This is not in continuity, nor could it be in continuity. So in this, the Amazons were at war with Man's World, and Man's World launched nukes at the Amazons. Diana tried to Diana and Superman tried to stop them, but the Themyscira got nuked, and Diana and Superman engaged in battle because it's like Diana kind of lost control of like her powers and she killed Superman. But at the same time, during their battle, kind of like in Sacrifice, they cause like a global calamity that like causes the apocalypse. And Diana is put in stasis for like, I think like 100 years or so. And then she wakes up in the middle of essentially a D&D like world. And she has to like rebuild the world and like make up for past mistakes. So that's Dead Earth. And it's really cool. There's a lot of great like moments in this. The only critique I really have with this, because characterization, it works. It's definitely Diana. The issue that I have necessarily with it is like the Amazons aren't exactly drawn attractive. It's like because the Amazons are supposed to be like the most beautiful like women ever to exist, but it's not really that much of a distraction for me. Because it's like when the story is this good, and honestly, when the action is this good, like Daniel Warren Johnson has always been fantastic at drawing badass action, as in the case of like Transformers and all the other stuff he does. Like when you have images like I'm going for like there's a particular image in this book that I think really demonstrates how awesome Dead Earth is. It really like shows how cool this is. Like, check that out. Check that out. Like, that's Dead Earth, essentially. And it's one of the most, like, unique takes on Wonder Woman. And that's the thing. It's like, there's a lot of, like, Elseworlds Wonder Woman takes that make her go, like, crazy. As in the case of, like, Injustice or anything like that. But, however, with this and with Absolute Wonder Woman, as I talked about last night on Legacy, she still acts like Diana in this, short of like her losing control of her powers. So there is that. And it really shows that it's possible to, because what you want to do, a good Wonder Woman Elseworld story, what that does is all you do is you essentially take Wonder Woman as a character in and of herself and just plop her in a new world. That's how you create a good Wonder Woman Elseworld story. That's what you really want to do. And because what you do with that is you can essentially show, no, this is who Diana is, and this is what the character actually like contributes to. And this is like why the character's not boring, because you can put her in these vastly different scenarios, and it works and she works as a character very well. So there's that. And then you get to the Absolute books. And the other reason why I want to talk about the Absolute books because it won an Eisner for Best New Original Series, which I'm happy for. But the thing that I really want to talk about with that is the fact that the comparison, because as you guys know, what was also up for an Eisner and Best Continuing Series was Tom King's Wonder Woman. Luckily, Tom King himself did not win any of the Eisners. His artist for Karen Windelhorn won, but that was more for the art, so it's not necessarily like his. But like he lost everything. Where when you have and you have Absolute Wonder Woman, which won Best New Original Series, well deserved, by the way. What does that show? That like the marketed as Extreme Elseworlds Diana is like the best, like is wins an Eisner. And as far as I know, Britt and I looked this up last night, and it turns out, hang on, I'm gonna pull this up. I actually pulled up a list of all the times that a Wonder Woman book has won an Eisner, and it's won. And so far, in terms of how many Wonder Woman stories and books have won an Eisner, there's only 3. There's True Amazon by Jill Thompson, won 3 Eisners. And at least one specifically for the book. Historia won for Best Single Issue and then Best Graphic Novel Reprint. And then Absolute Wonder Woman won Best New Series, and The Colorist won Best Colorist. So that's what you want to see here. It's very rare that a Wonder Woman book wins an Eisner. And I know that I have said before that the Eisners really don't matter because it's a popularity contest. But on that, here's why I talk about this. Because DC pays attention to what wins Eisners. Yeah, we may not care about the Eisners. DC does. And you know what that leads to? This is what Absolute Wonder Woman shows DC. It doesn't matter it's not the character that's the problem, because that's what DC historically thought. It's the way you handle the character, because Absolute Wonder Woman has, since its inception a year ago, been like one of the top selling books at DC. And it's like it duels with Absolute Batman in terms of the top the top Absolute book. It was actually kind of funny is it also like beat out Absolute Batman as a series. So basically they're finally learning the lesson. Yeah, exactly, Cameron. They're learning that when you actually put someone that cares about the character, because we all know Tom King doesn't care about Wonder Woman. But when you put someone on there that cares about Wonder Woman, which Kelly Thompson clearly does, because she gets too much right. That's the thing. Kelly Thompson has gotten too much right with Diana for me to not think that she reads a metric crap ton of Diana. And another really fun part about it is that even in the recent Wonder Woman, even in the recent Absolute Wonder Woman issue, it's literally like Cersei talking about, it's literally them talking about Diana being so nice. And it's because she's like, why? After growing up where she grows up, why is she so nice? And it's almost like Kelly Thompson is making a meta commentary on why Wonder Woman is so, on why this Wonder Woman is not like female Kratos, like essentially like the original idea, because the original idea was she was just going to be the goddess of war and just like kill people. And that's what it would have been if like Scott Snyder had been on Wonder Woman, I think, at least, because he was originally supposed to do Absolute Wonder Woman, but you put Kelly Thompson on there, and see, she said she couldn't make it work in terms of like making Absolute Diana just like Kratos, essentially. But with this, she freaking it's like I said, it's just you take Diana as she exists, the ideal form of Diana, and just plops her in a different world. It's still the Diana of that world that's crazy, that's in that crazy world, but she still acts like Diana. It still 100% gets to that, like it still is 100% like it's still 100% like what it's still 100% what helps this series, particularly when you have the main book, which Diana doesn't act in any way like she should. So it just all adds on to this. It's one of like the best parts of this. And it's one of those like series that I'm sure that Absolute Wonder Woman will stand the test of time as one of the best Wonder Woman runs in general. And yes, I'm saying runs because it counts as a run. I'm saying it's a run. So let me ask you guys this. Drop your questions about like Absolute Wonder Woman and Dead Earth, and I'll answer them, and then we can have a nice little discussion about that, because that's going to be because I really love talking about Absolute Wonder Woman. It is 100% my favorite series going on at DC right now, because they finally fixed Wonder Woman being a pain in the ass. So I really appreciate that. But so yeah, any questions that you guys have on Absolute Wonder Woman, it winning an Eisner, whatever you want to see. It also massively increases. Yes, exactly. That's a great point, NJ, because Britt and I were talking about this last night. So the thing about Absolute Wonder Woman winning an Eisner, because beforehand, because the reason why Tom King got the job was because of his crappy Supergirl book that, remember, didn't even sell well. And so it's like he had a modicum of cachet. Kelly Thompson on DC was still a relatively low tier, like she was getting relatively low tier characters like the Birds of Prey. Nothing wrong with the Birds of Prey as characters, but I'm saying comparatively, they are a lower tier. However, the fact that her Wonder Woman run won an Eisner and beat out the main one too, that is the key. It actually won technically 2 Eisners. So the very fact that they gave you like all of that, this one is like one of the best things, like is one of the best things that could have happened to Kelly Thompson. And it does, yeah, NJ, it definitely increases the odds of her taking over the main Wonder Woman book. Dark Sister, okay. What are your expectations for the crossover event? I think what it's going to be, it's going to be more likely so Wonder Woman and Batman meet up. It's not going to be an absolute Wonder Bat thing, BS, because even Kelly Thompson has indicated she doesn't want to do romance with Absolute Wonder Woman, or at least with Batman. What it's going to do, it's probably going to be is like they meet up, and then it's like, hey, there's a threat brewing, and we have to stand together. Essentially, Zack Snyder's Justice League level like things there. And I really, really, really am excited for that, because that sets up her meeting Absolute Superman, Absolute Flash, Absolute Martian Manhunter. And then before you know it, we have an Absolute Justice League. And then before you know that, we have an Absolute Justice League book, because that would be dope if we can get an Absolute Justice League book. And that's like the main like event book of the Absolute Universe. That's what I'm going to manifest. I am fairly certain that eventually we will get an Absolute Justice League book, because that needs to happen. That really needs to happen. Now, in terms of what creators I would put on it, I need to see more of like DC creators, because so far I haven't really seen a lot of people that I would really like trust with that yet. In terms of like not of someone that's not already on a book, on an Absolute book, essentially. Whatever questions do you guys have in terms of like, in terms of, do you have any negatives about Dead Earth? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna pull this up. All right, Wonder Woman Dead Earth. It's primarily, now Daniel Warren Johnson's art style works for it. It's just like, and the book, it works for like the post-apocalyptic feel, but in terms of like depicting an Amazon, it's not the best with the way that like the women look, because they don't necessarily look like the idealized attractive women that like the Amazons are kind of supposed to be, particularly in like the Raka run, or like the Perez run, or the Simone run. However, the reason why it doesn't bother me that much is because it fits the tone of the book, because the rest of the stuff, like when Johnson portrays like epic like fight scenes, and like he gets a sense of scale really well, like of this image of Diana in a gladiatorial arena. He gets that sense of scale really, really, really well. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't necessarily like the way Diana is drawn in that. However, he does like a really good job with what he's given and what he's trying to like portray in the tone he's going for. So that's why it's like, is it the ideal look for Wonder Woman? No. but is it like a good version for just this version of Wonder Woman? Yeah, I would say so. I would say it works for the version he's going for. That's kind of where I'm at in terms of the book. And it's like, that's why I can reread this over and over and over again. I probably will as soon as we're done here because I love this book. And it's one of the, like, again, one of the most unique takes on Wonder Woman that I really haven't encountered before. And it's one of those books that if they wanted to do a sequel with it, because they kind of set that up, I would be in favor of that because it would be really, really, really awesome. Plus, it's showing that, like, hey, a hardcore take on Wonder Woman is doing really well in the case of the Absolute books. That's the other reason why I wanted to cover these together, because they're both like showing that, like, a unique hardcore take on Diana works really well. So there is quite a lot of really, really good stuff that you can do. After our first campaign success, kicking King out, we should definitely, yes, that's the plan. Well, here's the thing, NJ. What'll probably happen is they'll already have the new writer lined up, and that way they can say, hey, the new Wonder Woman run is ending, or they may say, hey, Tom King reveals his Wonder Woman run is ending with this issue, and then at that point, then the hashtags will shift to Kelly Thompson on Wonder Woman or something like that, and then we'll go with that, and then we'll see what happens. But first, I just want to let me get this campaign done, and then we'll definitely go to that one, because honestly, if it's either her or Jeremy Adams, we'll be in good shape based upon she has the advantage because I know how she would write Wonder Woman. It's like I still haven't read Jeremy Adams's take on Wonder Woman, but if it's as good as Kelly Thompson, yeah, I think it'll be a really good like idea there. I think it'll be a really good run. But again, because it's like I haven't seen him write Wonder Woman yet, I'm going to go off. I'm going to be more in favor of Thompson first. That's where I'm at right now in terms of like work. But let me put it this way: regardless of who gets put on the book, I definitely will give them a chance, because hopefully they can't do any worse than the crappy Tom King run. But yeah. What else? What other questions do you guys have for me about hardcore Wonder Woman takes and like extreme takes on Wonder Woman and such? What do you guys think? It can be any questions about this, about where I think Wonder Woman's going in the future, your thoughts on the Absolute books, or anything that you want to like talk about, whatever. Just let me know. Can be any discussion on this. I won't be talking about Fantastic Four because we're not the spoiler section for that. But yeah, it's honestly from what from the signs that I'm seeing right now, I think the future is looking bright for Wonder Woman. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because you have too much really good stuff going on, like with Absolute winning the Eisner, Absolute selling so well. Hey, what's up, RJ? And like Wonder Woman as a brand getting like a movie and a TV show and such. So far, unless I see anything really overtly negative, I think we're in a really good spot for right now. Yeah, I'm late. Absolute yay or nay? Yay. Very yay. Very, very, very yay. In fact, you know what? I'm going to pull up some Absolute Wonder Woman to show off, because it's one of those things that needs to be like experienced. It's something that I can't really describe that well. I'm just setting into DC Universe Infinite real quick, and then we'll get started on that. Okay, Absolute Wonder Woman. Praying Kelly on the main book because, as you said, we already know how much she loves the character, not to her lore. She will, yeah, exactly. That's the thing, and the fact that like her Wonder Woman run is one of the top selling books at DC right now, that gives her a massive advantage because they know that she has a proven track record with this particular character. So here's what we got here. So I'm going to share screen for Absolute Wonder Woman art, and then we can start talking about it. So we got here. So we got Gateway City. There's like a big like upside down pyramid that has deployed. These demons attack, and then there comes Wonder Woman out there. Isn't Wonder Woman from hell? What's the deal with that? Yeah, I'm gonna get to that actually, RJ, because the origin is in this issue. So she like kicks ass with a giant cloud sword, and she shows up. I love the helmet and stuff, and then she does magic. So in this Wonder Woman, in the main universe, Cersei is like one of her main villains, but in this, so Cersei's like imprisoned in hell, and then the gods show up and say, look, Apollo shows up and says, you are going to raise this baby because it's like the Amazons have angered Zeus. So it's kind of like a mystery in there. And essentially they say, you're going to raise this child essentially. And the word, even the word Amazon is going to be banned. So I wonder how anyone tries to order from Amazon, but okay. But I love this. So at first she goes like she's going to like not care for the baby, because at first it's like Cersei going, why would you give me a baby? But I love this. The snake tries to essentially eat Diana. Diana grabs it and literally yeets it. Like the phrase is yeet, and I go, oh my gosh, yes. And then what you see here, what they essentially see here with this series is that Diana essentially softens hell. Like she softens Cersei and makes her more like motherly instead of like the bitter witch that as she used to be. And you see the cave that Cersei lives in starts to become more of a home instead of like a cave. And then we see a Wonder Woman super tall in this as well, and she fights like this giant creature, and this whole series is colored so very well. And essentially she battles this creature, and what I really love about this is, first off, the zoom in on Wonder Woman's red eyes right there. Like, this is so well done. And Hayden Sherman, if you're watching, well done, sir. And I just love where Wonder Woman's where like the creature says, away, warrior, you are beaten. Leave us, as we must prepare the way. This world is ours now. And then she goes, no. Then we will continue to hurt you if you insist. And then Diana says, I insist. For I am Diana of Themyscira, last of the Amazons, daughter of Cersei, princess of hell, witch of the Wild Isle, and you shall not have this world while I still draw breath. I love it. Cersei's worst crime is hypnotizing Odysseus and making him a sex slave for 3 years. Oh, she should be in hell. I'm not sure if that's canon to this, though. But so then we get to number 2, and I'm not going to go through every issue. I'm just going to go through like a couple, and you see like Wonder Woman like completely like fights all these creatures, and we see like Steve Trevor still lands in hell. We don't know why, and what Diana does to help him escape, which is like something that 100% Diana would do. So we fight this creature known as the tetrahedron, and I'm going the tetracide, if you will. Now, what we discover is essentially Diana's arm was like magic, essentially, because what happened was to send some away from hell, there had to be a blood sacrifice, essentially. So Diana cut off her own arm in order to make the blood sacrifice so Steve could escape hell. So that's essentially how he got out of hell. And then Diana has a little robot arm that she uses to like replace it. But then obviously she gets another arm. And what's really cool about this, I'm going to the issue with, is this the one that I want to really cover? So in issue 5, you get like a lot more like giant kaiju action, which I love. But what's cool about this, so at this point, so to fight the tetrahedron, Diana becomes Medusa and like basically Clash of the Titans it and turns the creature into stone, and then she's reverted back. And then what you get partway through this, Matea de Luis took over as the absolute Wonder Woman artist, and then you get like the art looking like an epic Clash of the Titans movie, and I go, oh my gosh. That's why I say if Matea de Luis and Kelly Thompson took over the main Wonder Woman book, this would be like the biggest like glow up of all time for Diana. You go from Tom King to this combination of epic monster action. Like, come on. You cannot get any better of a combination. And then I'm just going to go, this will be the last one that I like, the last page I really cover. This one has like some of the best coloring I have ever seen in a book. Like when she's fighting a creature and she doesn't want to kill the creature, but then she's like, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. And then unfortunately she has to do it. And then I just love the zoom in on her eyes because you could see like the red on her eyes and then the tears. Then I love the Hades going, you dare. And then Diana goes, yeah, I do dare. And she like hovers there. And I love the look of like, you are so beneath me, gods. And she essentially rescues like Cersei. I just love it. Again, it's essentially like they just took regular universe Diana and then just plopped her in this universe. And then you just got epic Wonder Woman action that feels like it's in like a Greek mythology movie. That's really the huge advantage that Wonder Woman really has. And in the absolute Wonder Woman, it feels like you just took her out of the main continuity and just put her into it just seems like a regular Wonder Woman story, but it's anything but. It's so great. Somehow, and this is the part that really like gets me. It's like this as a concept, Wonder Woman Raised in Hell shouldn't work. It really shouldn't. It really, really, really shouldn't. But somehow it like becomes one of the craziest it's one of the like it's one of the moments that will forever be like, how does this work so well? Partly because in Elseworlds books you can do a lot of really weird stuff, but it's just the way that they make it sound like consistent with Diana's character. It's literally like, it's called creativity. Yeah, exactly. What it is, it's essentially like all they did is they just said, no, this is how Diana would act in these scenarios. And it's so good. And they kind of imply, I'm wondering if they retcon this in later, which it could be really cool, is if Diana has a passive ability, like one that she doesn't know she's doing, that she makes everyone more peaceful when they're around her. That would be a really cool way to like, because even like Cersei in the beginning of the most recent issue talks about how like one can't help but be like inspired by Diana in her presence or be like softened by them. I wouldn't be surprised. And it is just one of the godsends of DC right now, because here's the thing, because it's technically the second time I dropped Wonder Woman. Now I'm gonna bring this up right now. It's like the reason why the reason why I went back to Wonder Woman, to King's Wonder Woman the first time I dropped it is because I didn't have an alternative. The last time I dropped it was before Absolute Wonder Woman launched, or I knew it was going to happen. So it was like I didn't have another Wonder Woman book, and I love the character, so I was like, okay, I got to read this. Then when Absolute Wonder Woman launches, and it's so ridiculously good, it's like, oh my gosh, I actually have a good Wonder Woman book. So literally, it's like I dropped Tom King's Wonder Woman and haven't gone back to it since, because I have almost a flawless like reinvention of Wonder Woman in such a way where I'm just like, yes, give Kelly Thompson Wonder Woman. It will turn out well. And yes, it is written remarkably well. And you see, this is what happens. Again, this is what happens when you put a writer on a book that they clearly love. Because honestly, it seems to me a lot of the times, every time I read a Tom King Wonder Woman issue, it seems like he hates the character. I'm just going to tell you that right there. It comes across as either hatred or genuine dislike. Where with Absolute Wonder Woman, because she acts so consistent with the character and you can still do new stuff with the character, it proves that, guess what? Anyone that's telling you that Wonder Woman is a hard character to write is lying. That's just an excuse for them to do subpar writing. Where when you look at like Absolute Wonder Woman, yeah, that shows that you actually can write Wonder Woman well and get people on board with a Wonder Woman book. Again, I want to stress this. A Wonder Woman book has been one of the 2 top-selling DC books. No, even when it's like launched at the end of the month. And then it just won technically 2 Eisners. So I'm like, where Tom King's Wonder Woman has lost all the Eisners been nominated for. It's why I am going to, whenever I talk about Tom King's Wonder Woman, I'm going to refer to it as the multi-Eisner Award losing series.
Le who? The her.
Yeah, exactly. It's that, because it is like, where when you have Absolute Wonder Woman completely cleaning everything out, because that's the thing about the Eisners. When I was following it last night, I kind of had this on the Super Wonder show last night. I go check that out, by the way, after this one, because it was a live stream and we talked about Fantastic Four. But the thing about it is, like, it would have been better sweet if like Wonder Woman lost all the Wonder Woman as a brand didn't win any Eisners. I would have been like, okay, at least Tom King's Wonder Woman didn't win, but I would have liked if like some Wonder Woman won, and some did. So I was like, oh, okay. It also made up for the fact that like Kelly Thompson did not win like top best writer. Then again, also Tom King did not win that either. So I'm very happy about that. But she at least technically she won with the best new series, and shockingly enough, she beat Absolute Batman as like a top as the top series. And again, that is like doubly like crazy, because remember, Absolute Batman is the other top selling series of DC that like literally everyone talks about and stuff, besides Absolute Wonder Woman, obviously. And it's like, even with the Bleeding Cool like weekly like numbers, it's only number 2 because Batman Hush came back. Batman Hush 2, the issues came back, but it's still in the top 5 no matter what. That is really, really, really dope. And I am very, very, very happy for that. And it shows again that the character has potential if you actually know what to do with her. And that's the thing. For so long, that's been the problem with DC's handling of Wonder Woman, is they historically have not known what to do with her, hence why they do all these really crazy stuff, like put Tom King on the book. So when you have a writer that clearly loves it, look what happens. Rebel Fox then says that Absolute Wonder Woman, the amazing art, the amazing colors, and really good. Yeah, the colorist one. And I'm like, yeah, that works for me, because like the coloring on the book, particularly the use of reds and like really bright colors, that honestly, here's the cool part about that. It really seems like they're glowing. That is the real art form there. If you can make a book's art look like it's glowing, like it's actually alive, that is an accomplishment too. So I'm like, as soon as I saw like the colorist won an Eisner particularly for her book work on Absolute Wonder Woman, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes 100% sense. It works 100% of the time. It just looks so freaking good. And it's like it's like the fact that again it's won 2. That's big. I really love that. But so let's see what other questions you guys have about Absolute Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, whatever you guys have wanted to know about Elseworlds, Wonder Woman, and But this also shows that you can do an Elseworlds Wonder Woman, and guess what? You don't have to make her evil. And NJ says Jordan Belair is the best colorist in the industry. She really is. She has of the modern colorists working right now, she is the one where whenever I read her work, I look at this and I go audibly, wow. Like, it is like absolutely, pun intended, mind-blowing, all of the really crazy images that she's able to make with that book. It's incredible. And it's one of the things I look forward to the most whenever I pick up an Absolute Wonder Woman book, because I go, let me see the colors. Oh my God. Like, crazy. And in fact, here's the thing. I'll show you guys this. Here's the coloring on like the cover of the most recent issue. I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint slides from Super Wonder Legacy last night. But okay, so let's see this. Okay. So take a look at this. Hang on, I'm pulling this up. Take a look. I wonder what you would think if any of my colors. Yep, I'll definitely check that out. Anyway, so check this out. So look at the coloring on this. So right here, here's the cover. Look at this. Look at all the other images here for Absolute Wonder Woman. Like, it just looks so good. And it's like when like little Diana like saves a turtle from being killed. It's all the more really, really, really great. I just love it. I love it so much. It's one of the best colored. And like, look, the reds of the blood of like Artemis just look really, really like it's popping really big. It's like all the reds, like Cersei's hair, Wonder Woman's bodysuit, everything just looks incredible. Even like Hecate, just everything about this series just pops. And that's what you really, really, really want in a series, and in a very well-drawn Wonder Woman series. That's what you really need. That's what you really, really need for it to be really good. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. What other questions do you guys have about Absolute Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman, or any comments that you guys would like me to go over? Yeah, it's all the more awesome, and I cannot wait for it to see the Absolute universe come together to like fight that threat. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot more Absolute Veronica Cale, because I like how they've been drip feeding her and like saying, okay, so we're going to show a little bit of Veronica as time goes by, and then finally we are going to like, and then we are going to bring in like the and then we're going to essentially like bring in essentially who is Wonder Woman's Lex Luthor, because that's who like Veronica Cale is. And the way that you kind of build it up, it really, really adds like, it adds to the epic quality of the eventual confrontation. It adds to the anticipation. Again, that's how you do that's how you handle things in the best possible way. It just never fails to surprise me how awesome that like it never fails to surprise me how good that this could get. I'm just like, every single issue somehow is better than the last, and it blows my mind. The use of Veronica Cale and King Clea, the classic Wonder Woman villain who wasn't used in 20 years. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. It's the minute that Kelly Thompson starts bringing Queen Clea as a villain, because Queen Clear is like a very obscure Wonder Woman villain, like someone that like no one that like there is a portion of like new Wonder Woman fans that doesn't even know who Queen Clear is. The very fact that you brought her in, that's when it was like further like solidified to me. I mean, it was already solidified, but it was already even more solidified that Kelly Thompson read a metric crap ton of Wonder Woman, because it's like Queen Clea is one of those characters that you don't just throw in there as like okay, I'm just gonna use her as a Wonder Woman villain. No, that needs to be like that is like something that like a lot of writers don't even know exists. And compare that to Tom King using Mouse Man, where the thing is like with Queen, the difference with Wonder Woman, with Absolute Wonder Woman and regular Wonder Woman, and why the Mouse Man arc is so far flopping, is because when you use a character, hey, what's up, Parker? When you use a villain that's obscure, after building up trust of using like her regular characters, because Dr. Poison shows up in this again. You see like the gods show up in this, and then it's like you also see like Veronica Cale in this. So you see like her villains repeatedly previously, and it's done well. Then the audience is going to give their trust to you to bring in like a rare villain, because they know that you're at least going to give them a solid time. Whereas with Tom King, the villain that he used was the Sovereign, and then he made Wonder Woman's like rogues like he made Wonder Woman's rogues like subservient to the Sovereign, and I go, Grail herself would never do that. Like, I'm sorry. It in no way does that work. Like that on no planet does Grail do the bidding of a human being. Never. Grail, the frickin' daughter of Darkseid. Now, here's the thing. I've said many times before when I did a Wonder Woman Wednesday on her best rogues gallery. Wonder Woman's rogues, Grail has a lot of potential for like to be Wonder Woman's reverse Flash, because when you think about it, Grail is the dark reflection of Diana. So the use of Grail in and of herself is actually a great idea. It's just when you make her, yeah, exactly, Cameron. When you make her do the bidding of like a man, I'm sorry, that is never going to happen. If Darkseid found out that his daughter was doing the will of man, he would be pissed off. It's like, look, imagine this guy's daughter doing the will of a human.
And a life is found Assad, and we will stop at nothing to possess it. Ready the Armada. We will use the old ways.
Imagine that guy's daughter doing the will of man. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. But it is really funny how Absolute Wonder Woman is positioned with regular Wonder Woman, because whenever King tries something in Absolute Wonder Woman and absolutely fail, in like regular Wonder Woman and fails, Kelly Thompson does the same thing and succeeds. That's the funny part about it. Which makes no sense as to why Grail would be subservient to human, which is odd considering she's the daughter. Yeah, exactly. That's my point, Parker. It's like, why would that work? I have no. Why would you think that would work? I can't accept it if it was Veronica, hell, even Savage, but with something like the Sovereign should not be giving orders. Yeah, exactly. It would also be one thing if like Grail was the mastermind the entire time and was trying to make something. Like if I could retcon this, I would retcon it where Grail was the mastermind the entire time, including creating Trinity and such. And she was just manipulating Sovereign into thinking he was in charge, but actually he was a pawn the entire time, like completely pants him in favor of Grail, because that's something Grail would do. Grail would be like the one that's like, yeah, you think you're in charge, but actually you've been doing my will the entire time. But yeah, and it's like, I swear, if Absolute Wonder Woman suddenly gets a daughter and it's better than Trinity, I am going to laugh my ass off.
Hereby complete the mission of the Amazons by ridding this world of you forever.
Thank you, Gal. But it never ceases to amaze me how like you have that. We're like absolute Wonder Woman does the same month that Wonder Woman does something, Absolute Wonder Woman does it much better. It's amazing. I really like the idea of a retcon because it's totally, yeah, exactly. That's my thing. If you make yes, and NJ Cersei would do it too. That's the other thing. He makes all the villains subservient when none of them would even work together. But it's like in terms of Grail, particularly because of who her father is, that's the one thing. If Britt and I took over Wonder Woman immediately, that's the first thing I would do is completely pants the Sovereign and make it like, oh, Grail thought that he was like, first off, I would make it where he's actually not part of a whole like family that's ruled America. I would completely trash that. And then I would make it where he thought that he was in charge, but he was actually a construct made by Grail in order so she would have like a figurehead to rule through. There you go. That's what you do. That way you completely crap on the crappy concept of that villain, and you completely repair Grail as being like a servant of a human. You completely flip that on its head. That's what you really need to do. And you can make it where like maybe Grail and Cersei were in a temporary alliance because Cersei helped create the constructs that were the Sovereign and Trinity. So that way, it's like they had an uneasy alliance. It's not like they were like best friends and allies, but they were working together. Yes, exactly, NJ. Imagine how cool that would be. It's like because again, Grail is a concept that was invented in the New 52, and they haven't done a lot of really dope stuff with it, but they should because she has the biggest potential. And honestly, she would be one of the main villains of my run in that she's trying to say, hey, I'm what you should be, Diana. Because that way, what you do, the way I would use Grail, let me pitch this idea to you guys, my audience. Tell me what you guys think of this idea. We use Grail as a commentary on the people that want Diana to just be a warrior, like Tom King, like Jeff Johns and such. And then Grail says, I'm what you should be, Diana, the warrior, the killer, the one that protects through violence. And then Diana says, then you have then you truly don't know me. Because yes, I am willing to fight for peace, but ultimately peace is my number one motivation at all times. That doesn't mean I won't resort to violence, but it will be a last resort. It's not going to be my first option. Because peace coming from a sword is not peace at all. That's what Diana would say. And that way you pants all the writers that have tried to make Diana a Xena the Warrior Princess clone. Yeah, exactly. That would be really cool. And plus it really gives Diana her reverse Flash essentially. Cuz that's who it is, or like her General Zod, cuz that's what essentially that's what Grail should be. But it's like DC never put this together, and I go, why wouldn't that work? Cameron says, I would like that because I can see the comments or ranting like, why does this writer act like he knows so much? Yeah, well, it's because I would say I don't know everything about Diana. 100%, I don't know everything about Diana. But the thing is that I know I probably know more than the last guy. I can tell you that much. Because that's the big thing there. And it's like if you do this right, the warrior for peace thing isn't a walking contradiction. And I still say anyone that says that Wonder Woman's a walking contradiction because she's a warrior for peace doesn't understand the character at all. Like under no circumstances does anyone, particularly someone named Tom King, understand the character that well. No. That's not the way it is. Because even with which is funny because this is coming from a guy that was like holding up American history during his Wonder Woman run. And I go, bro, you realize that George Washington has said the best way to like ensure peace is to prepare for war. You do remember that, right? You claim to be all about this rah rah America stuff, and you have Wonder Woman call America a great country, but you don't get this. Like, I'm sorry, that is just 100% like egregious. Like utterly egregious in terms of writing Wonder Woman. You would need a writer who understands the character, their ideal story, character that represents stuff like that. You need a competent, good writer who truly understands character. Yeah, and Kelly Thompson is that. Or to toot my own horn, I would say Britt and I understand the character pretty well, way more than people that have written Diana in recent years. So, but I would say if you want to go with a known writer, yeah, Kelly Thompson, just roll out with that. Just roll up with that, and then guess what? I guarantee you Kelly Thompson will fix a lot of the crap that like Tom King has done. And you know what? That is when you really create a top-selling character. And that is when Wonder Woman stops being this character that DC doesn't see as a priority. That's what that... But it's like, will DC do that? I feel like with the success of Absolute Wonder Woman, they won't have a choice soon. Particularly with Zaslav trying to make Wonder Woman a priority, which that's good. I like that. It forces DC to get off their asses and actually care about this character that they historically have not cared about. So I'm just like, okay, if you guys don't really like care about the character, first off, then like just see, the thing is, if they don't care about the character, then stop calling her a third member of the Trinity. That is my main issue with the positioning of Diana as the third member of the Trinity. Because they don't treat her like she's a priority. Because that's what they're trying to say when they call her a Trinity member. They're trying to say that like she is one of our priority characters. However, they really don't treat her as such. And that is like one of the like tragedies and biggest like contradiction. That's the real walking contradiction. It's not the character, it's the way DC handles the character. That's really what I point to in that. But the other thing that this shows is like there is an audience for Wonder Woman, because that's a sustainable audience. Because here's the thing about DC. If a book that doesn't even have to sell like massively well, it just has to essentially have like a sustainable audience. And when you have like the audience that like Wonder Woman has, where it has both Absolute Wonder Woman, that's when you actually drop into that. And Jay says, I don't know about you, but I need Gigantic to get more love in Wonder Woman stories and stop being a lackey villain. They could actually. That would be kind of cool if they make her an anti-hero, because they kind of hinted that like she and Diana at least have like a respect in like the Rucka run or even the Simone run. So you could actually roll with that. That would actually work really well. That would actually be a very interesting direction to take the character. It's actually not bad. Interesting. Like yeah, it's like, because you could make it where like for the battle against Grail, Wonder Woman needs to team up with a few of her villains like Giganta and such, in order to counter Cersei and Grail. That would be really cool. Because you can make it where like Cersei and Grail kidnap the Wonder Girls and are holding her hostage, and essentially saying, "Come and face us alone, or they die." So Diana, as she faces the two villains, like Wonder Woman's like alliance of rogues, if you will, sneak in and save the Wonder Girls. That would actually work really well. I would like that. That'd be interesting. That'd be very cool. But yeah, so what else do you guys have in terms of like in terms of Absolute Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman Elseworlds and Wonder Woman in general? Where do you guys see the character going in the future? Let me know, because I'm interested to see where you guys think the character is gonna go, because there's a lot up in the air in terms of the character, and I feel like there's like a ton of interesting directions they could go in when it comes to the character. What else? What other characters in Wonder Woman do you think need more? Like, I would like a Wonder Family versus all of the Cheetah story, even if it just be a one and done. That'd be a fun like one shot and stuff. We definitely need a story where like Wonder Woman teams up with like all of the Wonder Girls, because that's something. Because the Wonder Girls don't get that much attention like at all, and I go, come on, guys. The Wonder Girls are like part of like the foundation of Wonder Woman. And it allows you to like do a lot of different stuff with Wonder Woman that you could really do. And I'm just like, are you guys really just going to like to like ignore this vital part of Wonder Woman's lore? And Tom King intentionally said he was going to do that because he wanted to show people that like Wonder Woman's awesome, even though guess what, we already know Wonder Woman's awesome because the character has existed for so long. And arguably he did the complete opposite by making it look like Wonder Woman is like a horrible mom and stuff. So here's the thing. Tom King does not know how to make characters look awesome. He just doesn't. He knows how to make them look stupid. That's all he's ever done. Like with Supergirl being a drunk pirate girl, with like Wally West, he doesn't know how to do this. I honestly don't know what they would do with one's character. As I've seen, only DC not telling her stories well, especially with how they treat Super Wonder. Yeah, but she's more than just Super Wonder. That's the thing about that. But it's like, I feel like if they like but we're seeing Kelly Thompson herself. That's why I said Parker last night, check out Absolute Wonder Woman. That 100% respects the character like ridiculously, that ridiculously gets the character like extremely well. But yeah, but it's like give the Absolute universe a chance. I think you would actually enjoy it. Wonder Woman, Cheetah, and Giganta versus Cersei, Grail, and Veronica Cale story would be dope. Yeah, exactly. That's the team. It's like Wonder Woman has a team of like Cheetah and Cersei in order to combat. Yeah, there you go. That's the team, and then just save the Wonder Girls. That works really well. I've been reading Absolute Wonder Woman recently. It was awesome. Yeah, exactly. Keep reading that. That will restore your faith in Wonder Woman. Because I at first I was like done with Wonder Woman. But then when you read Absolute Wonder Woman, that legit is just like regular Wonder Woman, like the most true to the character Wonder Woman. Yeah, and it's working. It's getting way more characters into Wonder Woman. And I'm like, that is a really good thing for the character. If you're introducing new people to the character and creating new Wonder Woman fans, that is how you get more people to become Wonder Woman fans. And thus you start to see her more as a priority. So what else do you guys want to talk about? What else? What else? I also think they should look back at Golden and Silver Age and modernize those villains. Yeah, it can be done. Yeah, exactly. That's what they definitely should be doing. It's like, because the new 52 showed you that it's possible to modernize good like Wonder Woman. The other way to do it is to really like modernize all those Wonder Woman villains, because that's what the new 52 did with Superman and modernized Golden Age Superman. So if you can do it with Superman, you should be able to do it with Wonder Woman. Honestly, at the moment, Ivy should be reformed, in my opinion. That's what Ivy is an anti-hero role. Yeah, I think that they can like make that work. Again, it all it takes is the right writer. If you can get the right writer on the book and you can make me care about it, dope. A lot of Batman villains I've realized should be reformed at the moment. Yeah, exactly. Praying the next writer, Kelly Thompson herself, hopefully brings back Julian Vanessa. Chances are, let me put it this way, it's going to be over for King if Kelly Thompson brings in the absolute versions of Julia and Vanessa, because then literally everyone's gonna like chop off his run and go, nope, that's it. Because I get the feeling a lot of Wonder Woman fans are just hanging on just for the chance of seeing Julia and Vanessa show up in a Wonder Woman book. But it looks like because Kelly Thompson is bringing in like all the really like all the big Wonder Woman characters like Ferdinand and such. I got news for you. That's like that's what you need right there. That's where we're going on that. Yeah, I have no doubt that Kelly Thompson is going to bring in those characters, and that will be the biggest like haha middle finger King, and it's the one and it's the middle finger that he definitely deserves. Yeah, Kelly Thompson is bringing back everyone in the cast. Yeah, she even brought in Ferdinand in these recent Absolute Wonder Woman issues, and you know he's not going to be a one and done character. You know he's going to play a bigger role in this. Yeah, there is like no way that like Wonder Woman that like she doesn't, because she just continues to bring in all of the best characters uh, in Wonder Woman's lore, and it never ceases to make me like laugh my ass off every time that happens. And that's the thing, is like whenever Tom King has the opportunity to bring in one of those characters and he doesn't, Kelly Thompson comes in and goes, "I got it, hold my beer." And that's why, again, Kelly, if somehow you're watching this, please campaign to take over as Wonder Woman. We will support you. We will show up and support you. Um, NJ says, I know for a fact she will bring back Hippolyta as soon as she arrives on the book. Yep, I'm sure she will. She may not necessarily bring her back as like a goddess, for like being a goddess, but you will have Hippolyta play a larger role in Wonder Woman's like world. And you know what? That would be a good compromise if they go with that. That would be something there. It's not as like I would prefer if like Wonder Woman, if like Hippolyta wasn't a goddess anymore. But if I can't have that, I'd be like, okay, that's like if I have to go off of that, if that has to be like the compromise I go for, yeah, might as well just go with that. I'm fine with that. Although I still think that like that they will be stopping having her being a goddess. She has to bring back Hippolyta. She's crucial Wonder Woman story. Yeah, for sure. I think she will. I think she definitely will. I think she definitely will. It's just a matter of time, because I think DC has seen that like that doesn't work, and you can replace Hippolyta as one of the gods that gives Mary Marvel a power just by making Hera the H in her like Shazam. That's all you really need. It's not like Hippolyta needs to be. It's not like there's no other H god that would take over. So it's like as long as you slot in the god that would replace Hippolyta, there you go. You're done. You can bring her back, and no one's gonna be the wiser. I think goddesses will be over, considering she is useless for that role in Raid where Icon Mary. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, there is I get the feeling that like that's not even going to be a consideration anymore. And I wonder if they asked him to retcon that so they could bring her back as like a regular Amazon, but don't put her back as like the queen. what they should do is use her as like as like hang out in Man's World with Diana. Because can you imagine the cool stories that you can tell of like Diana showing her mother Man's World? That would be really, really cool. And Diana seeing that, and Hippolyta seeing the effect that her daughter has had on Man's World. There's so much story potential there that I really hope DC goes with it, because there's so much that you can do with that and show that the Amazons that the Man's World is not the same as what it was in ancient times, particularly with Hippolyta being in World War II. So it's like Man's World has changed since World War II. So there's so much that you can go with that story that would create a really compelling narrative. But yeah, so let's see. Any concluding questions or comments that you guys would like to make before I wrap this up? Can be anything you guys want to talk about. Got any videos coming up? I will go over that as soon as we do the outros and stuff, because yes, I do have some cool Wonder Woman related content coming out this week and such. But so let's see, what else can we really talk about right now? And then whatever you guys would like to hear. So while you guys put out any remaining questions, I'll just go over what I have coming out. So on Wednesday, I'm going to be releasing a Wonder Woman video about like my favorite Wonder Woman artists. And thank you, Parker. Britt and I had a blast with the Flashpoint episode. And the episode for Reed and Sue is up. It's a live stream, so you guys can go back and check that out. And essentially, Under Two Capes this week is we're going to review all the Fantastic Four movies. And then movie night, I got to think about what specifically I want to do for movie night. But and then in terms of like Super Wonder Legacy, the next episode, we're going to be talking about Justice League Heroes, the cartoon animated series that was like really that like respected Diana and respected the Super Wonder relationship really well, and was produced by by Krieg, the same guy behind like the Tomorrowverse, with that stellar portrayal of Wonder Woman. By NJ says, one thing I liked about Dead Earth is showing how powerful and non-holding back bloodlusted Diana is. DC just wants soups all the time. Yeah, exactly. Like this is why I maintain, and I will continue to maintain, that Diana is the most powerful member of the Justice League. Because if she lets go, you essentially have Kratos, but you have essentially a much stronger, like, for lack of a better term, God to combat, and that makes it all the more like, oh my gosh, that is going to be like crazy. But so we got that. But anyway, I think that's a good place to leave it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Next week for Amazon Answers, I think I will do G. Willow Wilson's run for Wonder Woman. I have 2 of the trades on that, so we'll talk about that and talk about how G. Willow Wilson is the one that broke up Diana and Steve. Yeah. And then after that, we'll do Steve Orlando. And or I'll give you guys the option. Hey, what's up, Terry? We're just wrapping up. I'll give you guys the option. I could talk about Wonder Woman Earth 1. I'll let you guys, I'm still going to talk about Earth 1 eventually, but I'll let you guys pick which one that you guys would like to see first. Would you want to see G. Willow Wilson or Wonder Woman Earth 1? You guys can pick. I'm fine with each one. I'm fine with either of those, and either of those are going to happen. So it's like, it's essentially a question of which one do you want first. whichever one you guys want first, that's going to be next week's episode. Or another option I have is one. Actually, you know what? Here's what I can probably do. So let me do this. Hang on. I think I can start a poll. So let me do that here. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to start a poll in the chat, and then you guys can vote on which one you want to see. So let me do that. All right. So how do I do this? Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Next, what Amazon answer stream? 1 second, ladies and gents. I will do this. All right. Wonder Woman Earth 1. Wilson. Future state. And then let's see. What's another one that we can do? I can even talk about Nubia, but let's go with that. Let's go with that. Or Wonder Woman Conan. Hang on. I'll do this for the last option. All these are going to happen, so it's not like only one of these are going to happen. But it's like, okay, and the poll is live, so you guys can vote on that. So it's not all of these are going to happen eventually. It just has to do with which one that you guys would like to see first. Yeah, exactly. And Wonder Woman Conan would actually be an interesting flashback, because I did a Indie Wednesday discussion on that years ago, and it actually did fairly well for me. So I'm very interested to see what you guys would want to see for that. But yeah, so the poll is live, so go ahead and vote on whichever one you guys would like to see first. So in other words, this is going to decide next week's, and I may do this every single week from now on, and just have you guys vote, because I think that that's more fun to engage with you guys like that. So far, Earth 1 is winning, so that's actually very good. I'm happy to see that, because either one of those I'm fine with. Yeah, it looks like everyone wants Wonder Woman Earth 1. Oh, geez. So I'll leave it up for a couple more minutes, and then we'll get started on that, unless it goes 100% Wonder Woman Earth 1, because it looks like it's going to be Earth 1. So you know what? Yeah, we might as well just end it off of that. All right. What one was Wonder Woman Earth 1. All right, so Wonder Woman Earth 1 is going to be like the next Wonder Woman Amazon answer stream. So we'll talk about that. And then yeah, so it'll be Earth 1, and then at the end of that stream, we'll vote on what the next one. That's what we'll do for all these subsequent ones, that you guys can vote on whichever one is going to be the next stream. And again, I want to reiterate, all of these are going to be covered. So it's not like the ones that don't win will never be covered on these streams. It's just determining the order of operations, if you will. But I think it's a good one to end it. Stay heroic, everyone. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane. She belongs to General Zod. And actually, before I end, I'll play this clip.
How would you like me to make your life a living hell?
Well, I'm not really ready for a relationship, Lois. But thank you for asking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll cover Conan for sure. But and Steve Never, he belongs in the ground where he is. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Zois the Max about for life. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.